Dedicated coach and redemption.
The impact of a trailblazer is never realized during the present, but in the generations that follow. In 1957, Norris Stevenson was only concerned with the impact on the football field.
Coming to Missouri was a decision to be made as it relates to football. I didn't think it was anything else necessary. I'm gonna get the classes. I'm gonna get those. And then other than that, it was football. Did I know I was gonna be the only African American there? No. I wanted to play football.
The University of Missouri football team had been organized and segregated since 1890 when the Vashon grad chose Missouri over Indiana.
Everybody's due to report to college. I changed my mind from Indiana to Missouri.
Innocence, along with his love for football, served as blinders to the fact that Stevenson became the first African American to play football at Mizzou.
I didn't particularly like it, but at the same time, it gave me an opportunity to play football. Okay, and that's it. I wanted to play. I knew I could play there. I knew I could even start there. At Indiana, I thought I could play. So yeah, I know it sounds terrible, but the truth of the matter is that's it.
Although Stevenson was able to foster a few relationships, that spring in 1957 was especially challenging.
In the spring, I'm the only African American on the team out of about 100 players. So whatever the drill is and whatever, I'm right in the middle of the thing. So you get a feel, if nothing more, from the standpoint of you're starting to feel like there's one and then there's 60. Some guys tried to be friendly with me, and I said try because let's put it this way. As I said, I didn't do a very good job either. But by that time, you just want to stay. You're just going to stay in one piece. You're going to go to class, and you're going to stay in one piece.
The journey of a trailblazer can be a lonely one, but for Stevenson, football was his salvation.
That's it. You got football. You can't imagine how much of a lifesaver that was. How many times did I just simply want to go home?
Dan Devine coached the Missouri Tigers from 1958 until 1970. He gave
After sitting out a year due to freshman eligibility rules, in comes new coach Dan Devine, who would later prove to be influential in Stevenson's life.
When Dan comes, things change to a degree because you knew he was at Arizona State. Just came from a place where he had a lot of African American players. And they were good.
During Stevenson's years on campus, events of that time created an uneasy climate for all of those involved.
You got to remember, integration was in 1 year. It was in his first year now in the schools, public schools. Okay, the University of Missouri had never had an African American. So you had some things that were growing and developing. By the time, surprisingly enough, by the time you're junior, senior, sometimes it got out of hand.
On deck to root for the Middies.
The climate of the times was also the impetus for a series of incidents that would later have a profound effect on both Stevenson and Devine.
In the Orange Bowl, we could not. Mel West and I could not go and pick up our awards at the country club where they're holding the awards. Everybody else could, but we couldn't. They came in and told us about halfway through the program that we were going to have to leave. African Americans were not allowed on the island after 8 o'clock. So they gave us our award, walked over and gave us our award, and escorted us out. The thing that hurt me most, Coach Devine did not come and tell us. He sent a coach. Now that was the hard part. It still hurts.
Coach Devine still couldn't face the players himself. For decades, Stevenson carried a burden of searing, yet silent resentment. But for that same time, the two men stayed in touch, mostly because of Coach Devine's relentless efforts.
He had begun to make some movement in relationship to the extent, even with the players that I play with, when we go back up maybe on front of business, we notice that everybody's kind of warming. Okay? So right at it when did it started happening? It started probably just about the end of our time. By the time we're all seniors, we're starting to really kind of feel a little different about it. You can feel it, you can hear it.
However, an unspoken wound still remained.
When we would go out to dinner or something like that, he would start maybe trying to say it, and you know, I need to just talk to you about something, and never got around to it. At the end of it, said, you know, I just said there was a conversation that we should have had, but we didn't.
During Coach Devine's last days, a last request became the grandest gesture of them all.
I mean, he had cancer, and he dies, and he leaves me a note, do my eulogy. I asked his son, what did he want me to say? He said I would know, and that was it. Yeah, I knew.
Coach passed away in May 2002. Stevenson, by then an ordained CME pastor, got one more message, this time loud and clear from Devine.
He needed to tell me something. And in the final analysis, he told me. And what he also did with me was allow me to let go. I was angry for 30 years. He didn't need to say it anymore. He didn't need to say it, and I think he got to a point where he understood that. But it's the kind of thing where I want to make it mean that.
In the end, the Trailblazers' path came full circle. It led to home.
Whenever I go back up now, it's happiness is.
Today, Mizzou has honored its son with the Norris Stevenson Plaza of Champions at Faurot Field. The field, the campus for which the journey of a pioneer began, the impact of a trailblazer realized.
And understand, and I'm going to say it because I believe it, I was meant to be there. Did it mean that I could do something somebody else did? Yes. Could they've done it as well? Probably better. But I'm glad it was me.